Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel, where we explore the most magical and heartwarming stories from around the world. Today, I have a truly special tale for you, one that blends art, friendship, and a little bit of unexplained wonder. This is the story of Elara, the girl who could speak to paint. In a quiet cobblestone town, nestled between rolling green hills, lived a young girl named Elara. She wasn't like the other children who spent their days chasing butterflies or playing by the stream. Elara's world was found in her small, sunlit attic studio, surrounded by canvases, brushes, and a kaleidoscope of paint tubes. From a very young age, Elara discovered she had a peculiar gift. When she was alone, truly focused, the colors would whisper to her. It wasn't a voice you could hear with your ears, but more like a feeling, a hum that resonated deep within her. The cadmium yellow buzzed with the energy of 1,000 suns, begging to be splashed across a field of sunflowers. The cerulean blue sighed with the calmness of a morning sky, longing to become a vast, peaceful ocean. Cobalt violet spoke in hushed, mysterious tones of twilight and dreams, while burnt sienna smelled of damp earth after a rainstorm. For Elara, painting wasn't just about mixing colors. It was a conversation. Each tube of paint had its own personality, its own story to tell. They were her closest friends, her confidants. She would spend hours just listening to them, understanding their desires. The fiery crimson red would tell her tales of passion and courage, while the gentle sap green would share secrets of the ancient forest. Her parents, though they loved her dearly, didn't quite understand. They saw her beautiful, vibrant paintings and praised her talent, but they worried about her solitude. "Why don't you go play with the other children, darling?" her mother would ask softly. Elara would just smile and say, "But I do have friends, Mama, right here." She'd gesture to her palette, where the colors seemed to gleam a little brighter in response. The townspeople knew Elara as the quiet artist. They admired her work, which was displayed in the small window of her father's bakery. Her paintings were unlike anything they had ever seen. They weren't just pictures. They were emotions captured on canvas. A painting of a stormy sea could make you feel the spray of the ocean on your face, and a portrait of a laughing elder could fill your heart with warmth. People would stand for long moments, captivated, without knowing that the secret was Elara's unique collaboration with the colors themselves. One year, a great somber fog rolled into the valley and refused to leave. Days turned into weeks and the once vibrant town became draped in a blanket of gray. The sun was a forgotten memory. The vibrant flowers in the town square drooped, their colors muted. Laughter became scarce, and a heavy silence fell over the cobblestone streets. The townspeople grew weary and despondent. Even Elara's paint seemed to feel the gloom. In her attic, the usually boisterous colors were now quiet and withdrawn. The yellows were dull, the blues were melancholic, and the reds had lost their fire. They murmured to her of sadness and hopelessness. The world outside was losing its color, and they were fading with it. Elara's heart ached for her town and for her friends on the palette. She knew she had to do something. Looking at a large blank canvas, an idea sparked within her. It was a risky, ambitious idea, but it was the only one she had. "We have to remind them," she whispered to her paints. "We have to bring back the sun." She gathered all her tubes of paint. She squeezed out a generous dollop of cadmium yellow. It felt weak, barely humming. "I need your strength," she pleaded with it. "Remember the brightest summer day? Remember the feeling of warmth on your skin? We need to paint that feeling." She then turned to the sky blue. "And you remember the endless clear sky after a storm? We need that hope." Slowly, as Elara spoke to them with all the love and conviction in her heart, a faint warmth began to return to the yellow. A flicker of light danced in the blue. She began to paint. It wasn't a painting of a landscape. It was a painting of pure light. She layered the yellows, from pale lemon to deep gold, coaxing their brightest energies onto the canvas. She swirled in whites and pale blues, creating a blinding, radiant orb. The reds and oranges joined in, creating a halo of warmth around the core. She painted for 3 days and 3 nights, forgetting to eat or sleep. Her attic studio became a beacon of light, glowing so brightly that it could be seen from the street below. Her parents watched, worried but amazed, as their daughter poured her entire soul onto the canvas. Inside the attic, the colors weren't just whispering anymore. They were singing. They sang a chorus of hope, a symphony of light, a powerful anthem against the encroaching grayness. On the morning of the fourth day, Ilara was finished. The painting was a masterpiece, a sun so vibrant and real you could almost feel its heat. Exhausted but triumphant, she collapsed into a deep sleep. While she slept, her father, moved by what he had witnessed, carefully carried the large canvas down from the attic. He placed it in the bakery window, facing the town square. At first, only a few people noticed. A child pointing, a woman stopping her cart, but soon a crowd gathered. They stood in stunned silence, staring at the painting. It was more than just a picture of the sun. It was the feeling of the sun. The warmth seemed to leap from the canvas, pushing back the cold fog. The light in the painting was so powerful, so full of life and joy, that it ignited a spark of hope in everyone who looked at it. People began to smile. They started talking to each other, their voices brighter. A musician took out his fiddle and began to play a cheerful tune. It was as if the painting was reminding them of all the beauty and color that was just waiting to return. And then, something truly magical happened. As the town's collective spirit began to lift, a gentle breeze stirred. High above, a small patch of the gray fog thinned, and for the first time in weeks, a single real ray of sunlight broke through, landing directly on Ilara's painting. The painted sun seemed to absorb the real sunlight, glowing even more intensely, and then reflecting it back out into the town square. The fog began to retreat, pulling away from the houses and streets like a receding tide. The real sun grew stronger, bathing the town in its glorious golden light. The colors of the world returned. The flowers seemed to perk up instantly, the wet cobblestones glistened, and the faces of the townspeople shone with relief and joy. Ilara awoke to the sound of cheering. She looked out her window and saw the sunlit town, more vibrant and alive than she had ever seen it. And in the center of it all, her painting stood as a testament to the power of hope. From that day on, Ilara was no longer just the quiet artist. She was their hero, the girl who had painted the sun back into the sky. She continued to paint, her conversations with the colors growing deeper and more profound. But now, she also started talking to the people of her town, sharing her joy and her unique view of the world. She learned that while her paints were her dearest friends, the true magic happened when she shared their colors with others. Her art became a bridge, connecting her not just to her paints, but to the heart of her community. And so, the girl who could speak to paint taught everyone that even in the grayest of times, there is always color waiting to be found. All you need is a little bit of hope, a listening heart, and perhaps a friend who knows how to speak its language. Thank you so much for joining me for this story. I hope it brought a little color and light into your day. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Until next time, stay magical.